Well, it's July, although by the time you see this, it'll probably be August. And it's tax time, and the donations have started. So the first one, which I'm having trouble getting into, is this calibrated weight set, complete with little tongs to lift them out. So this will be interesting. I think I know where these came from, and we have a whole bunch of other stuff. We'll go over that in a moment. So let's jump right into the next donation. Alright, we've got another delivery. This one is in July delivery. This is a MikroTik router. Now this is a delivery, not a donation, because I work at an armed forces museum and we are on the fringes of being able to get NBN, or also unable to get fixed wireless internet. So we've had to order a 4G modem. This is a very handy thing. I've played with these before, and this also comes with a little unit. Comes with a little LTE module to go in there as well. I'm pretty sure these are a I don't know if I can get this open just yet. I'm pretty sure these are a mini PCI Express. I have another July donation, but because my desk is in an eternal state of flux, I had to make some room. So what we have here is this monstrous creature, and let's see if we can get the lid off here. Let's give you a look. Alright, this is a donation, excuse the mess in the background, and the strobing. So this has been donated to me, and I believe the reason for that is that we have an American plug over here. It's actually a 2-pin parallel pin plug. So it's more than likely going to be 110 volts. And I think there was also a problem with the lifting mechanism as well. So this is going to need a little bit of work before we can make it actually happen. So that will be interesting. We'll see that in another video. Alright, well, July continues and more donations have come rolling in. This time some stuff from my good old buddy Mick from Mick's iPhone Repairs. So you can find him on YouTube as Tinkerman Mick. Just starting to get started. It's the first of these donations, which I've having some trouble getting out of the bag. I've had what I believe might be more symptoms of MS. My left hand is not gripping things very well today, so you're going to see righty do most of this. Anyway, I'm having some trouble getting this out. This is a I think a portable power bank that uses 18650 battery cells. They're very, very handy. I've been given some what this looks like to be a syringe or something. Oh, this will be flux. Okay, that's what that will be. I've got a 10-turn potentiometer. Very nice. I think that might even be a rheostat, looking at the way that diagram is laid out. I've got a universal battery charger. I will try that out. I've had a go at getting into the box, but I haven't got the dexterity today. I could end up visiting hospital for some more intravenous methylprednisolone, or prednisolone. I can never pronounce that. Nasty stuff. Gives me panic attacks. Hate it. Anyway, a couple more of these spudges because I raved about the last one he gave me, and I think they're great. Here we go. We have some enameled armature winding wire. Very, very nice. I'm not sure what I'll do with it. I'll find something handy. A few little things here which you probably can't see. Hang on. I literally can't pick those up. Where's some pliers? Alright. This is... Actually, okay, I can't grip my pliers. This is frustrating. I'm not sure. Let's try righty. Righty might work better today. Okay, eating dinner was difficult, I'll have to tell you that. So these are some LDRs he's given me. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them there. Now, problem with righty is it gets in the way of the light. So maybe we might be able to fix that. Let's see if lefty can hold a light at least. Okay, so what else have we got here? These appear to be some 555 timer ICs. There's several of them. These are, what are these? These are some quartz crystals here. These are some 16 megahertz crystals, suitable for Arduino use. These, I think I looked these up before. I think these are LED driver chips, and I think they might be mains voltage capable ones. I'm not sure. And battery holder for an A23, I think. There's these little 12 volt batteries. Looks like it'll fit there. We've got, I think that's a USB, 5 volt USB regulator. Bunch of parts bags, which will be handy. I'll leave them over there. A bag of assorted gears. Looks like my neighbours are getting another delivery. There's a motorbike just gone past. I'm busy tonight. Alright, so yeah, there's a whole bunch of different things in here. Looks like there's even a geared rack in there as well. And a brass gear. Very handy because I have a repair job. Where are we? Have a repair job for my neighbour. To try and replace this gear that's stripped, and this is a 2-tiered gear. So some of these might fit it, we'll find out. Or they might be a suitable substitute. We might be able to replace it with some of these pulleys and belts in here. So we'll see how we go with that. I think I had some more stuff. I'll have to dig it up. With Lefty not quite doing its job today, my desk's been left to get a little bit messy, so you're going to have to deal with that. Now in the mix I did find a little vintage thing. This is not a donation, this is something I've had in my shed for many years. My father gave this to me when I was a child. I'd forgotten I had it. I used to use it for a wind speed meter, but there's probably going to be a little write-up when I do some research on this, and I'll probably put it to use for a similar purpose. We'll see how we go. And there's some old GPS modules I found as well. That's been digging around my shed, so that's kind of like a donation. These, I had a bag of these given to me quite some time ago. Status unknown. So, yeah, we'll see what we can do about them later as well. Anyway, let's move on to greener pastures, I guess, where there's more donations and where my left hand works. Alright, this donation's a little bit too big to fit on my desk. This is from an ex-co-worker of mine. There's a 3D printer. It does have a couple of little issues down the side here with these side rails that I'll have to fix. But I'm pretty sure whoever designed this thing didn't understand English. But this will be interesting. There'll be a whole episode on this. Well, we have some more deliveries, and I apologise for the sombre tone at the moment. I lost a very close and respected mate today, so you'll probably hear some more about that in the tribute video. It was going to be a build. We'll see that later. I'll put a reference in the description. Alright, this is some of the things. I've just been out and bought some of these because I didn't think they were showing up. These are 5.5 2.1 mil DC power plugs and inline sockets. Very, very handy. I will use them fairly soon. What else do we have here? From Lateral Design Proprietary Limited. Who is this? Because of recent events, I've kind of lost track of everything that I've ordered here. What was this? Oh, okay, cool. These are some Arduino chips, the 18 mega chips. These are going to be used for Geiger counters. I've got a third one somewhere, but I just wanted a couple to test to start with. I'll order more as I need them. Well, they got here quick. I only ordered them a couple of days ago. So, yeah, certainly. Order from Lateral Design Proprietary Limited. Order from these guys. They got that here in about 2 or 3 days. Really, really top-notch service. Ordering within Australia does occasionally have its benefits. So let's see what's in our third package here. What have we got? Okay, oh, here's some inline plugs as well. These are some for other purposes. So I ordered these about 3 months ago, and where did they come from? China. Yep, well, they must have gone sea freight then. Okay, lots of connectors. I'm not going to be short of them. And, well, however, my local store at JCar had the ones I needed, which I now appear to have lost. Yes, they had these, which the shank are a little bit longer, and the quality of these is actually quite a bit better, to be honest. But yeah, I paid $2 each instead of $2 for 10. But so yeah, you buy with your local JCar store, support your local shops when you can. I only buy these when I need like a heap of them. So yeah, all right, that's donations and deliveries for the moment. What is it today? It's the 26th of the month. Yeah, there's not too many, 4 more days. I think we'll see what else comes up. Anyway, I'm going to go back to working on a tribute project, and if there's anything else that shows up, you'll see it right here. Alright, well, I was wrong. There was more donations to come yet. Still got 3 days. So, a good mate of mine from In-Depth 3D Printers, in fact, he is In-Depth 3D Printers, dropped off a print for me for my LED walking stick handle. This is of infinitely better quality than my print, and more importantly, it's nice and straight. And he was also kind enough to give me 2 of the end caps as well, in good density. They feel really, really good. So there's those. He also took some time to print some of M's spice racks as well, which I had unsuccessfully tried to print about a dozen times. So definitely he's got some skill, and he's given me 3 of those. And there's also a whole bunch of bits and pieces from Tinkerman Mick as well, starting with a couple of sets of tweezers. And of course, something I've already used, which was a twin terminal banana plug connector. Well, we're 2 days to the end of the month, and I thought donations were done for. I was sadly mistaken. Well, not so sadly. This is the next donation, which is a Paycom DVR. It's been decommissioned. I see a DVD burner in here, and USB ports, and big filters. Let's turn this round to the back. Well, this is a bit more than just a DVR. This looks like it's got a full-blown computer in it. And it looks like it's got video card and an unwholesomely large number of video inputs. Wow. So yeah, this will be interesting to play with. So yeah, I'm still a little shocked that somebody gave this to me. And lots of PTZ controls as well. And lots of audio inputs. It could be an interesting system. I wonder what we can do with this. Yeah, also in the donations were some full body cameras. There's several of these. Some older looking ones. 220 times power zoom. These will be interesting to play with. And a Samsung as well. Oh, and now I have to clear the desk for the next one. And well, this came with it too, although the story is that the pan and tilt on this might be damaged because it was set up to pan and tilt continuously all day, every day for years. Good way to wear it out. But I guess we'll figure all this out as we go. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with all this stuff yet. I guess we'll find out. Oh, and there's one more donation. The keyboard and the mouse to go with the DVR system. Right here. Now, well, some post has arrived, and it's lucky last day of the month. So we'll see what this is. And forgive the noisy CD in the background. I'll just turn things on. Ah. Alright, I got sent 2 lots of these. I ordered some of these about 6 months ago. And then I ordered some from eBay, and they arrived at the same time. So now I have 2 lots of these. I know, it's the same supplier. I think they sent 2 packages and they just took a different amount of time to get here. Anyway, that's pretty much it for donations and deliveries. I've got some very big ones to work at, particularly that camera system. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Well, I'm having an off day today. Everything's caught up with me. Lost a good mate a few days ago. So yeah, I'm taking a day off. I'll see you all later. Well, I thought the month had 30 days, but apparently it has 31. And I've received a big influx of donations on this last day, although they're a little bittersweet. These are some donations that were left for me by the late and great Ken Anderson, and also some of his family members who are helping deal with his estate, since he has now departed us. And he was a good friend of mine, and almost like an adoptive grandfather, really. But anyway, let's start going through some of this stuff, and if I pause a bit, you'll understand that it's, the items from a deceased friend. So we have an Australian Maritime College plaque here. This is very good quality stuff. Now, why that's important is because we also have his Maritime College certificate as well. These will be going down to the museum I work for. There's a few other personal effects I won't go through, but there's some of these things. We have some circular slide rules. These are, we're talking specific to the area he came from, dealing with constellations, I believe. I'm going to have to read the book that came with these on how to actually use them all, and I think we're going to skip through these fairly quickly because there are a lot of them. This one's a circular slide rule, slide rule and Smith chart, GT and E. I'm going to have to go through all of this stuff. I haven't had time or the presence of mind to actually assess what all of these slide rules are specifically for, but there's a lot of them in here. There's some linear slide rules. This one is for Collindol CodeLink optical computer. Yeah, I'm going to figure that one out later. And a noise figure slide rule as well. This is how things were done before calculators. It's still done in some places as well. And there's a little one here as well, which I think it's made in Japan. Good quality one. I think that's purely just like a metric to imperial conversion. I'm not sure. I'll check that one out later in more detail. Now, we have a stack of photos here, but they're of a personal nature. We have the this book. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Astrolabe or Astrolab, I'm not sure. We have another slide rule, which I'll open. This one is in immaculate condition. This is how slide rules should be. This is a real slide rule. We'll open this and have a look. I remember this being demonstrated to me, and this was left specifically for me. And this is a very good quality, very smooth running slide rule with a very, very precise line. We'll go right up close here. And this is very, very nice. And we have the center section will move as well to provide an offset. And we also have the underside here with various other measurements as well, which we'll investigate in more detail, probably in another video at some point. So put this away carefully. And like everything, there is a manual included with this that's in the box, which I won't attempt to remove at the moment because it's very carefully placed in there. Alright, let's move a few of these things. Now, this is a cousin to the Van de Graaff generator. This is designed to accumulate static electricity into Leyden jars and then discharge it across the arc gap, which you can't see on camera here. Discharge it across the arc gap up here. So that's good. Hopefully when I get this working, I think this is a Chinese model he bought in for interest's sake. But if I can get this working, we'll do a whole video on that. Well, in amongst Ken's donations, I came across this JVC camcorder. And you know, given that a lot of stuff's going out the door of his house at great haste, I thought I'd have a bit of a check in the SD slot. And lo and behold, this is a dual SD unit, and there's an SD card still in here. I'm not sure if anybody realised that. Just going to plug it in quickly and see if there's anything on this. Well, it seems there was. And I seem to recall him talking about these videos. This might have been his memoirs. I think I'd better back this up. Alright, before I went much further, I backed all of that up. I've plugged an SD card reader in, backed up all 16 gig of that. It's quite a number of hours of stuff. Anyway, back onto the donations. The next donation is somewhat vintage. I don't know if I can fit this all on the screen all at once, but this is a Microprocessor computer kit, I believe. I've heard about these before. Sorry about this being sideways, but it says that there's a Z80 CPU in here, and it's got 2K of RAM and 2K of ROM and 24 system I/O lines. So this is like a really early precursor to like a Raspberry Pi or an Arduino board, but using a Z80 CPU. This would be very interesting. This is the same man who donated me the Amstrad machine, which you've seen in some of my other videos. So this will be very interesting. I've wanted to play with Z80 programming for a while, and this, knowing this man, will probably be a fully complete, notated project. Well, let's actually just open this just to have a look, because I am a little excited about this, despite the sadness of the event. Leather bound in a book shape. That's very, very nice. Oh, it's all here. The original manual, everything is all here. The buttons are immaculate. Oh, never been touched. All the components look fine. And a 3.5 megahertz chip in there as well, crystal in there as well. And room for extra boards, extra chips. I might even put some sockets in there at some point. Well, this one is, this is quite nice. I'm going to have to definitely do a video on this at some point. Time for the next batch. It's worth noting there is a tremendous box full of wires and cables. I'm not sure if I've got everything that's complete. But of the little curiosities I found was this little block here that tells me whether things are level, and apparently my desk is. However, case in point, marbles tell me otherwise, as do round things. I can put this on my desk and things roll off, or it's going to make a liar out of me. But I know my desk is not level, so this might not be, although both of these say it is, so maybe things are just messing with me. What else do we have? This is an Olin something. Digital voice recorder. Nifty. Complete with all the equipment and the manual in its own little sealed box. True to form for Ken. This is a bit of a return. I gave him this. This is a set of Bluetooth speakers. Cheap, but they did the job for him towards the end of his days. I found yet another orphaned micro SD card. This one had his memoirs on it. Let's go through this. Let's have a look here. Have a quick look, and it does have a DCIM folder on it, although the folder is empty. However, I will do a deleted file recovery on that card and see what else I can find on it. I'm sure something else will come up. Alright, so I'm pretty sure I recognise this. Yes, it's an X-Acto knife set. I gave my last set away for unknown reasons. I can't remember why. Anyway, I have another set now. That's going straight in the tool drawer, which is now full because I've got so many tools and equipment now. But wait, there's more. There's a digital sound level meter, which is nice. I didn't have one of these. I've been using my phone. It's nice to have a dedicated instrument for a job. I have some vintage fuse wire, which you saw before, on a wooden reel. That's something I haven't seen before. I noticed it is radially ranged, so this might have been compressed cardboard or something. Anyway, it's nice to have some vintage stuff. I have his weather station, but only the bottom half, so I might go and politely ask the family if I'm allowed to have the top half, but we'll find out. But yeah, that will be handy, and it's still functioning. I think the top half is too. I'm running out of room in here. What have we got here? Oh, a USB 3 hub, very handy. I can use one of them. And it has, oh, it's a card reader. Well, that would have been nice. The last Windows 10 cumulative update killed all my card readers. So that would be nice. I had to borrow this one just for the filming of this. So that will be handy. These are some very old style infrared LED, infrared headphones. And I did find the LED array for it in the box as well. I just haven't pulled that out because there is so much stuff. Now, this I'm not sure. This I think is an infrared or no, this is an AV transmitter slash receiver, and it's 2.4 gigahertz. I'm sure the other unit will be in the box somewhere, and there's several versions of AV receivers in there as well. I think he's experimenting. I do know for a fact, because I installed half of this stuff for him, he tried various different Wi-Fi extenders over the time. We ended up with some very high power ones that might still be there hiding behind the cupboard. We'll find out. I'm partly helping with the cleanup as they request the help. There's a timed power point. Yeah. Now, I'm sure there'll be a remote control for these somewhere, but these are remote control power points. These will be really handy. We already used some of these at the Armed Forces Museum. If I'm really lucky, these will be on the same frequency and I can pair them. If not, they'll be remote. There's 2 receivers for a HPM cordless doorbell, of which I don't have the button, but I might be able to do something about that. We have additional transmitter for a 3-channel UHF remote control kit. That's interesting, brand new kit, never assembled. This will be handy. It's a little switchable light. You have a professional cleaning pen, which I think is for like lens cameras and stuff, or camera lenses, yes. My mother being a professional photographer will probably make use of that, considering she did probably some of the last photos there were of him. A Digitech radio, and I think it's a digital multiband receiver. It's a digital radio. I don't actually have a digital receiver yet, so that's handy. What do we have here? This is a TW830 hand remote. Timer remote control. I think that's like a remote shutter for a camera of some kind. I'm sure it'll become clear. Now, there were some filters in here. This looks like it's an infrared filter, but remains to be seen. And there was another filter box, and I think that's empty. What have we got here? So yeah, I think that's empty. Now, it's worth noting at this point in the video, I'm not going over the personal items here that might upset the family and whatnot. I'm just going over the electronic gadgets. So yeah, we'd rather have respect. So he's given me a digital tachometer, a tacho, very handy. I also didn't have one of those. There's a whole kit for a wireless review mirror, the LCD review mirrors, and it looks like this is a brand spanking new kit. It is indeed. It's a brand new kit, never used. Wow. Okay, that's wow. Okay, quite surprised. Good old Discman. These are becoming a bit collectible now. This one had the 10-second buffer in it. I think the Discman craze started probably just after I was finishing high school, so yeah. We have a water timer. That will be handy because I'm considering making an automatic cat sprayer, and I'd like to program it at certain times of the day to switch off. That might be a cheap hack, but I could just put a real-time clock in it, you know. But anyway, we have a mystery box, a laser STB 6000, which I think STB probably stands for set-top box, which would be reflected by the RF in and RF out and the HDMI. That could be handy. And there's also a USB DVB / T FM DAB. I'm guessing that's a digital video receiver. I think I've seen it before, and that's kind of reinforced by the fact there's this crappy little antenna on it, but could be handy. I'll see how we go. Yeah, I have to dig through the box a bit more and see what else is in there. This next item was personally left for me. Now, this might not be made out of brass, but the seaworthy among you might recognise this as a sextant. And it has both blue and red filters on it. And crucially, and again, true to form, it has the position finding with the sextant book to go with it. Copyright 1964. My apprentice is having a malfunction in the background, don't mind that. But yeah, this comes complete with its wooden storage box, and that's where it will live. I'm not terribly familiar with how to use a sextant, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be in the next few days. So yeah, we'll put this in a nice special spot. Okay, there seems to be a never-ending amount in this pile. I'll go over this thing in the background here. This is a bag, and despite its colour, it's not of military origin, but this is more of personal interest. He carried test equipment, or a single piece of test equipment in this for many years, and he did explain it to me, and I haven't written down the history of that item, but I'll have to get back to that. I've got too much to get through. I did manage to pick up this, which of course has got his name on it, but this is a Super Saber light. I remember when I first heard about these something like 20 or 25 years ago, and I was pretty nuts about the idea, and the idea of a xenon globe back then was like out of this world. So I'm going to see if I can get this one working again, and yeah, so that'll be really good. We have cable here that looks like it's just a flat Cat 5 cable. Now this is clearly something Ken made. Tong tester adapter. So this would be for testing the current that appliances use. So you have a male and a female plug here, and you would connect that in line with the appliance to be tested, and you would get a what's the word for it? You would get a testing clamp. You can get multimeters with a clamp. Clamp meter is the word I'm looking for. You get a clamp meter here, and that will determine from how much current is inducted through the loop on the clamp to determine how many amps that device is drawing. A bit of witchcraft in it, but yeah, so you can test how much your heater or your fridge or whatever's using. Handy if you're trying to find a power culprit in the house. I will definitely be opening this and safety testing it before I use it for anything. Despite the obvious attempts to put additional insulation on here, I really want to make sure, although I know this guy did things right. But yeah, certainly not something I'm going to use unchecked. Alright, I've picked another selection out of the box, which I'm probably not going to get through all of it today. So there's been a nice little wireless camera here. Not much about this, it's probably a generic analog 2.4 gig camera with a power supply. That's interesting. Now, we've been over that one. Now, I found what I thought was a component video cable at first glance. But then when I looked at these closer, they're shielded banana plug leads with piggybacks. So these will plug into each other very nicely, usually when you plug them in right. But still, something that is exceptionally handy for me. I actually was planning on buying some of these. And these are good silicon rubber ones. If you give them a twist, they roll up and they go into a little loop like that. Nice ones, and when you let them go, they pop back out. Very nice cables. We also have an altimeter. I've seen these before. These are relatively cheap, but not too bad. And I think they have a compass mode in them as well. Batteries in this appear to be flat, and I'm fumbling because my left hand is still somewhat out of action. Now, I think there were about 3 or so of these. These, I think, are Cocoon brand wireless AV transmitters. And I think really this is probably the real antenna on the side here. But they have this funny little antenna up here. I'm pretty sure there's probably nothing in that. But yeah, so we've got all the appropriate AV inputs and outputs on them. They could be handy at some point. Maybe for broadcasting to my neighbours or something. I don't know. We'll come up with something handy for them at some point. And the donations continue with Tinkerman Mick dropping off some super capacitors for me for a project I'm working on. Maybe I think a shake torch is what I was planning to do with these. And there's one other item. A digital microscope. I believe this was also one of the late great Ken Anderson's possessions as well. This has just been dropped off for me if I don't tip it over. I was actually planning on buying one of these, and I think I spoke to him about it, so I think he went and bought one, put it in the cupboard and never used it. What his intentions were, I don't know, but I have one now, so you'll see more from this on this channel. This will be handy. Anyway, that's it for my donations this month, and they turned out right at the end of the month to be unexpectedly far more than I would have expected. So, yeah, I can't think of a better way to word that right now. I'm sad that it actually has turned out that way for the reason that it took a dear friend to depart in order for that to happen. But, yeah, it went painlessly, and yeah, I think I've tackled this in my a video titled My Very Last Project for Ken. So if you guys are interested in that side of things, probably go and check that video out. And anyway, here's 2 more useful donations showing up. And I'll see you all in the next video at the end of next month. Now, just a quick little parting note before we go. There were 144 files on that SD card that I was able to recover using an undeleting program. And they're of a wedding, so I'm pretty sure they'll need to know what that is.